Hello again. I'm not sure how you found your way here, but welcome to my second speed art and vlog attempt. As you may notice, I'm not canny sounding. That's because George let me use his headset instead of my crummy integrated mic on my all-in-one. So that's gonna be a nice little change for your eardrums, I'm sure, if you listen to my past vlog speed art. So now that you guys can hear me in my full derpiness all crystal clear, how was your holiday? How was your weather over the holiday? Because that has been some craziness. I live in the Midwest, so we've been getting a ton of flooding. I live along the Mississippi River, so it was completely up and over and a ton of craziness locally. Anyway, a lady went missing and everybody's routes were delayed, and it was just really nuts, weird weather for December here. We usually get floods in like the late spring and early summer, but definitely not in the winter. I'm really glad it wasn't snow though, because that would have been a nightmare. The flood actually messed up around my parents' house where I used to live. The water was supposed to get all the way in our basement and then 3 inches into the main living room. So George and I went over and we had like some family over, and one of my best friends from school came and helped, and we moved everything out of the basement for a good couple, I'd say 3 to 4 hours. We were there, but they were still doing it beforehand. We moved everything out and into a U-Haul, and then the road went under, and it didn't end up going in the basement like they thought. It just got in the garage. And aside from the flood we had here, we just had the most wretched customers this year at work. It was just, this is a nightmare. A lady called and was freaking out that we didn't have a PS4 on Christmas Eve, a used PS4, mind you, and was telling me that I was going to ruin her kid's Christmas because we did not have it in stock. Which, I'm sorry, but if you're saying that your kid's Christmas is going to be ruined because they don't get this $320 game system that we had in, then they are getting Christmas all sorts of wrong, because that is not what Christmas is about. That lady is still not as bad as the lady I got my first year of working there during the holiday season, who mistakenly took our floor copy of a game, which is an empty case, we put on the floor without the disc in it, so anybody who tries stealing it doesn't actually get the game. And I rung her up. My coworker had filled the game for her, but she took the case. She went home, wrapped it up for her kids, and they opened it up on Christmas Day with, lo and behold, no game inside. So she came back the day after Christmas, and of course I was working, and since I rang her up, she thought it was my fault and I messed up, and she demanded that I give her gas money for driving 15 miles here and recompensating her for ruining her kid's Christmas. She's just screaming all up in my face. And with it being my first year there, I wasn't as set to deal with troubled customers as I would be now. So I ended up hiding behind the wall that we have that separates the floor from our backstock area while my manager took care of it and calmed her down. And the entire time I was back there, I was just crying. Because it was intimidating. It was scary having somebody who I didn't know up in my face yelling about me ruining their kid's Christmas. We had more mild rude people come into work this year. People with their kids who let them destroy our aisles of Wii games and Nintendo DS games, and they would pick the games up and put them sideways or in completely wrong sections. And this lady, who I'm actually making the comic about, well, made the comic about, who would not get out of my way whenever I needed to get out of the aisle that I was trapped in. And you know the type of person who this lady is. The person who you try to get by and you're very polite and nice and say, "Excuse me," and you're like, "Okay," but they don't move. They don't move at all. Not a freaking inch, so you have to awkwardly like shift through them and grind on them. And nobody wants that. I don't want that. They don't want that. I guess the moral of the story is just don't be an asshole customer. Christmas time, in general, ever. Yeah.